Welcome to the first episode of What If, the brand new series about what if scenarios about stuff I personally enjoy. Today we're going over what if Sega re-released the Sega Dreamcast in 2026. Let's get on to it. So, we first start on January of 2026. An intern at Sega of America pitches the idea to one of the head executives. They laugh at him. But the Sega CEO, who's located in Japan, says, that's a great idea. Nostalgic, but also it is a great time. There's no new consoles out besides the Switch 2, and it'll make us money. There's really no loss unless we, spend millions of dollars making a bunch of Dreamcasts for no reason. So the CEO goes with it. Sega starts building up their factories again, and they start creating the exact same Dreamcast from the 90s. Now, in Dreamcast Cyan, Dreamcast Purple, Dreamcast Red, Forest Green, and the classic Pearl White and Black Abyss. So, we have all these new colors. For $150 you can buy it. It gives you the console, the cords obviously, the manual, 2 controllers, 2 VMUs, and there's a little mystery involved. You either get a Sonic Adventure 1 copy, or Sonic Adventure 2 copy. It's randomized, based on which box you buy. And there's a little code at the bottom the scalpers look at, and it tells you which one it is. But the color of the console is on the front. And this blows up. It's revolutionary. Sega makes games that they were going to make. And I will list off the games that have been marketed heavily after the years of Sega finally figure out how to market. I mean, if you'll take a look at their old ads, it's no wonder why they didn't succeed. The first game we're going to be talking about is Call of Duty Dreamcast Edition. Call of Duty, Activision to be more specific, created Call of Duty, and for Sega they created Call of Duty Dreamcast Edition, as well as an attachment where usually the dial modem would go, a custom attachment for, new, modern online play. So you can play Call of Duty normally on your Sega Dreamcast with the Sega Dreamcast Edition. And it literally just requires Wi-Fi. That's it. So that's a great example. It's literally just a port of the original Call of Duty from the early 2000s onto the Dreamcast with a little lower, graphics and everything. Another game is the cancelled Lost World Jurassic Park arcade port from the Dreamcast, or from the arcades to the Dreamcast. That was cancelled. In this universe, they do make it for the Dreamcast's re-release. They also develop a new Godzilla game that is actually American. You can play on American consoles instead of having to get the Japanese console and the Japanese exclusive Godzilla game. This one is a fighting game and is a port of Godzilla Unleashed from the Xbox One, PS2, and I believe the GameCube. I think it was on the GameCube as well. So you get Godzilla Unleashed ported. But the biggest thing, of course, Sega announces this September 4th of 2026, and the Sega relaunch, the Sega Dreamcast relaunch, happens a few weeks before Christmas, so extremely early December, late November. Black Friday, essentially, which was a really great time. So, it releases, and a year goes by, and the same intern, who is now pretty high up, adds another kick to it. He says, what if we opened up our file type that we put on the ROMs to the public and allow indie game developers to submit their own games, and Sega will review them, and then if they love them, they will contact the person and tell them, hey, you've been accepted, and if the person says yes, then they start putting the game file onto the discs and then mass producing those discs, and it becomes a Sega Dreamcast game. 200,000 people, over 200,000 people, sent submissions in, only 200 of them becoming games. One of these that was the most heavily marketed was Scratch and Melody, which is a pretty popular indie music rhythm game, and it was ported to the Dreamcast by shrinking down the file size and lowering the graphics. And it was a hot seller. It was one of their top 5 they would market. They had Sonic Adventure recasted, Call of Duty Dreamcast Edition, the Lost World Jurassic Park arcade port, Scratch and Melody. So they had a lot of new games, old games, refurbished, and it sold crazily. In its entire span, which was 8 years, it was from 2026 to 2034. It sold triple what the original did, which is pretty good. Almost quadruple what the original sold. In America and worldwide combined, which is pretty good. And they made it so that now the games aren't region locked. There's just a setting on the Dreamcast to change it from English to whatever other language you want it. So, with all that being said and done, in June of 2034, Sega announces that by the end of the year, they will stop producing Sega Dreamcast. The new Sega Dreamcast. Heartbreaking, but 8 years is a really good run. And they sold so much, they made so much money, that Sega finally realizes, maybe we can make another console. Oh, and if you were wondering, all the games cost only $25 to $30. And the console itself is $150. So, pretty good. I would say, pretty good. I'd say. Well, after all this, what can we pull from this? This is a what-if scenario. Sega would never do something like this, but it's possible. And that gives me hope. Even if they don't re-release the Sega Dreamcast just as it was in the 1990s, with brand new games, more colors, and letting indie developers... Oh, and the slogan I made up for it, creativity drives the dream. Sega, hire me. And then, they would encourage you in the ads to make your own indie games submitted to Sega when they probably wouldn't even accept it unless it was amazing. But yeah, I think that's going to end the first episode of What If. If you enjoyed this video like I did, please like and subscribe. Join my Discord on my channel page. And just remember, it's still